Her scream cracked the air before the sound of the car engine. I looked out the window. My wife's fist was tangled in our daughter's hair, dragging her across the gravel. The girl's knees scraped raw, but she didn't fight. She just whimpered. "You block my car again, and I'll make sure you never walk," my wife spat. Then the kick, a sharp, practiced blow that sent the child into the trash can. The lid clattered, her small body curled inside. "Useless things belong in the dump," she muttered. From the porch, her father laughed. Not a chuckle, laughter, enjoyment. "She has no future anyway," her mother added, voice flat, unbothered. I stood behind the curtain, watching. My hands did not shake. My voice did not rise. I said nothing. Because storms don't announce themselves. They wait, they gather, and then, when the world is quietest, they destroy. When she came back inside, her shoes left streaks of dust on the hardwood. Our daughter limped to her room, silent, eyes hollow. I asked nothing. But the fracture widened. I began to notice her parents' constant presence, the way they spoke about my daughter as though she weren't flesh but burden, the way my wife's affection turned sharp, conditional, transactional. She wasn't always like this. Or maybe she was, and I was blind. Marriage is just a house of mirrors, and I'd mistaken a reflection for a person. At night, I heard her whisper on the phone. Her voice softened, a tone I hadn't heard directed at me in years. A man's name slipped out once, casual, too intimate. The air turned heavier. I lay awake, the ceiling above me a blank slate of possibilities. Betrayal doesn't scream. It seeps, and I could feel it seeping into everything. I told myself I needed proof. Proof of what? That my wife wasn't just cruel? That her cruelty was a symptom of something deeper, a double life? And if I found it, then I would decide what she truly deserved. I became deliberate. Her phone, unlocked when she showered. I scrolled quietly, memorizing numbers, threads, receipts. Hotels billed under business trips, messages that read like half-truths dressed in endearments. She thought herself clever. She wasn't. I checked bank statements, cash withdrawals, consistent, small enough to hide, frequent enough to mark routine, a hidden rhythm. I followed once, said I was working late, but instead trailed her car at a distance. She didn't go to her office. She went to a house on the edge of town, parked, entered, stayed an hour. When she returned home, her hair smelled faintly of smoke and cologne. I smiled, kissed her cheek. Inside, the knife turned. I ordered a DNA kit, collected strands of hair, toothbrush bristles. Quiet work in quiet hours. 17 hours later, I had what I needed. 17 hours of waiting, calculating, refining. My daughter watched me. She didn't ask, but her silence said enough. Children see more than adults believe. I tucked her in at night, kissed her forehead, and promised without words. The test results arrived 3 days later. I already knew. But knowledge, written in black ink, has a weight no suspicion can carry. The boy she bore 3 years ago, our son, not mine, not by blood. The numbers were precise, unmistakable. I sat with the report on the dining table, staring at the lines. My wife walked in, humming, phone in hand. She froze when she saw it. Her face cracked open. What is this?" I didn't answer, just leaned back, eyes fixed, calm. She read. Her lips trembled. "This doesn't mean anything. These tests can be wrong. Her voice cracked. Tears came. Excuses. Lies stacked upon lies. I remained silent. Silence suffocates better than words. She tried to touch my hand. I pulled away, slow, deliberate. That was when she broke. She knew. The performance had failed. And with failure comes fear. I didn't shout, I didn't throw things. That's what she expected. Instead, I called her parents to dinner. Invited them like nothing was wrong. They came, smug, dismissive, still sneering at my daughter as though she were a blemish on their legacy. I waited until dessert. Then I placed the report in the center of the table. No speech, no build-up. Just the truth, plain and sharp. Her father stopped chewing. Her mother's fork froze. My wife's face drained white. She betrayed all of us, I said, voice even. But only one of us gets to walk away. The silence that followed was thick, merciless. Her parents turned on her instantly. Shame, rage, condemnation. The same cruelty they once reserved for my daughter now carved into her. She wept, begging me to deny it, to salvage her image. I didn't. Instead, I stood, took my daughter's hand, and walked out. I didn't raise my voice once. And that was the deepest cut of all. The house behind me burned, not with fire, but with reputation, judgment, collapse. I gave them nothing, no closure, no chance at forgiveness. 17 hours, that's all it took. From the moment I watched her drag my child into the trash to the moment I placed the evidence on the table. 17 hours to dismantle the illusion of our life. My daughter slept in the back seat as I drove into the night, peaceful, unburdened. I glanced at her in the mirror. She was mine, truly mine. The rest, her, them, the lies, belonged to the dump where they had thrown her. I felt nothing as I whispered to myself, useless things belong in the dump. Only this time, I meant her. I kept my eyes on the road, hands steady on the wheel, the night rushing past like water. I thought of my ex-wife, of the lies, of the men who thought they could own pieces of my life, my blood, my silence. No more. Betrayal cuts deep, but it also cauterizes, leads you colder, sharper, cleaner. By the time I pulled into the driveway, I knew one thing with absolute clarity. They would never laugh at me again, and if they tried, I wouldn't need to call anyone, because I was still that man, always had been, always would be. I don't bury my past anymore. I let others choke on it.